Alright guys, welcome back. Now leopard geckos are usually fairly docile and chill for most of the time, but if you handle them in the wrong way or even at the wrong time, you can cause your gecko stress or worse, something like an injury. So in today's video, I would like to share with you how you can handle your leopard gecko. I've had a few customers lately asking me how to properly do this because they were struggling to actually handle their geckos at home. So I thought I would put this video together to help those who are struggling to handle their leopard geckos. So let's dive into it. So to begin with, let's go over when isn't a good time to handle your leopard gecko. So first of all, I would refrain from handling your gecko straight after they've eaten, as well as during shedding. On top of this, if you've only just bought your leopard gecko and it's adjusting to their new home, then I would just suggest to leave it be whilst it's settling in. If you also notice that your gecko is hiding away a lot, or they are clearly a little bit stressed out, then I would certainly give them some space as well as some time to just calm down. If you do notice that your gecko is stressed out, then it's important that you do allow it time to just calm down. Now, let's say that you're going to handle your leopard gecko and you go to pick it up and you notice that it starts swooping its tail at you, then this would also be a time that I wouldn't handle your gecko. Again, just allow it some space, leave it be and try again later. So now we've gone over that, let's go through some ways that you can actually approach your leopard gecko in order to handle it. Okay, so to begin with, I would highly recommend that you don't go from above. The reason being is this tends to spook your leopard gecko out, especially if they don't see it coming, and it basically can trigger their predator responses. Instead, you can attempt approaching your leopard gecko from the side and let them see your hand coming towards them. A lot of the time, if you do it from the side and just place your hand on the ground next to them, there's a high chance that they'll just climb onto your hand. Now, the second technique is what I like to call the scoop technique. Simply place a hand down on the ground in front of them and just gently move your hand towards their front legs and just gently scoop underneath them. Let their feet touch your palm naturally, no pinching or grabbing from the tail or back. Once your hands go past their front legs, they tend to put their front legs onto your hands, and at this point your hand will be underneath them, so just gently and slowly pick them up. Now, these are the two main ways that I like to approach my leopard geckos for when I would like to handle them. And I find that these two methods are the best for reducing stress, and it makes them feel a lot more comfortable with handling. Now, keep in mind that when you are handling them, always try to support their entire body, especially their back legs. If your gecko starts dangling from your hand, this would certainly start stressing them out. Another thing to keep in mind is that although leopard geckos aren't a jumping gecko like a crested gecko, for example, they can move fairly quickly. So just try to keep one hand in front of the other at all times and just allow them to walk across your hands at their own pace. Here's a solid tip for you. The calmer and slower that you are with your leopard gecko, the calmer they are going to be too. If you go in and just grab them and pick them up really quickly, they can get stressed quite quickly. And this is because they don't really know what's going on. So like I say, just go slow and steady and you and your gecko will have a better handling experience. Now, on top of this, I'd recommend handling your gecko over a table or some kind of soft surface underneath them for in case they climb off of your hands. Leopard geckos have fragile bones and can injure themselves, especially if they fall from quite a height. So certainly try and only handle them over a surface for in case they climb off of your hands. Now, the next thing that I would like to demonstrate is how not to handle your geckos. I would also recommend not grabbing them by the tail. Now, although they might not drop their tail, there is still a high chance that they could drop their tail, especially if they don't see it coming. In the wild, their tails act as a defense mechanism and they try and entice predators to grab hold of that tail so they can drop it to make a quick escape. So by not grabbing them from the tail, you're going to avoid them dropping their tail. This can also stress your gecko out if you just grab them from the tail to pick them up. So that's another reason for why I wouldn't recommend doing this. You can also look out for other stress signs, such as the tail waving, which we've already spoke about, where they swoop their tails. Another thing to look out for is squealing. This is when they make a high-pitched noise. This is a good indicator that they don't really want to be handled at that moment in time. But this can also also happen if you're going too quickly and they sort of just panic and don't really know what to do. So this is definitely worth keeping in mind. Now also keep in mind that you're trying to build positive interactions with your gecko. Pushing them past their limits ruins your trust with them, and as a result they can become a little bit more skittish in the long run. Since we're on the topic of skittish behaviour, if your gecko is still quite skittish, start by just placing your hand in the enclosure daily on the ground and just sit there and allow them to come to your hand at their own pace. Let them walk onto the hand without trying to lift them up once they're on your hand. Just go at their own pace. It is a trust game and it will take some time. Now, how often should you handle your leopard geckos? In all honesty, 2 to 4 times per week is plenty. Daily handling can be fine if they're comfortable with it, but this is more towards adulthood. Now, once you're done handling your leopard gecko, I'd simply just gently place your hand back down onto the substrate and just allow them to climb off of you at their own pace. Now, once I'm done handling my leopard geckos, I always try to give them an extra positive experience. So what I like to do is simply offer them a small treat. And by doing so, over time, they're going to start associating handling with something good. Now, if you've never handled your leopard geckos and it's the first time that you're actually handling your leopard geckos, I'd just start handling them for 3 to 5 minutes, especially for if your gecko is young. Build up the trust over time. As they become adults, they're going to be a lot more tolerant and a lot more likely to just chill on your hand for a longer period of time. So that's 2 ways that you can actually approach your leopard geckos to handle them. And you now have a good understanding of what not to do. But also, if you've never held a leopard gecko before, you have a good idea of how frequent you should handle your leopard gecko in order to build that trust, as well as for how long you should handle them. Leopard geckos handled right become very chill over time. They do enjoy a good hands-on experience or interaction with you. They'll certainly enjoy climbing up your arm, as well as being outside of their enclosure. Just remember, they're not a cuddly pet. Respect their limits and their boundaries, and it won't be long until you build a good relationship with your pet leopard gecko. Drop us a comment if your gecko does enjoy handling, and also let us know in the comments if your gecko absolutely hates handling, because you do get some leopard geckos that just don't like it. On top of this, let me know in the comments what method you guys use in order to handle your leopard geckos. But yeah, hopefully this video has helped you for if you're struggling to handle your leopard gecko or don't really know how to approach handling. So I hope that this video has been valuable to some people. But yeah, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel, as well as follow us on social media. Just simply type in @CoopsReptiles. And yeah, I suppose I shall see you in my next video. See ya!